Guys, now I will calculate why this light bulb was burned when I put it on this defective inverter driver, that in place of 110 volt it raised it up to 435 volts. So let's proceed. Let's put those in a side. So 110 volts, 1000 watt, ampere is 9.090909 amps, and the ohm is 110 volt divided by 9.090909 amps equal to 12.1 ohm, and 1000 watt divided by 1000 is 1 kilowatt. And now 435 volts, that this shitty chip defective, I don't know what it has inside, maybe it has failed from those who had before me. So let's see. Sometimes you need to make mistakes to achieve something in life, something bigger. So 435 volts divided by 12.1 ohm equal to 35.950413 amps. So it's higher than 9.09 amps here, as you can see. Well, let's go down to find the wattage. So 435 volts times 35.950413 amps equal to 500,638.429 watts divided by 1000 is 50.638429 kilowatts. So the device can handle 1600 watt only. So 1600 volts, sorry. 1600 watts. Sorry guys. It's dark here and it's sleepy time. Equal to 3.678 1609 amps maximum. So to find the ohmic is as I did with those, and it was 118.26565 ohms. And for 110 volts that is designed here, that's the voltage of the lamp, as you can see here. And the voltage that's supposed to work this shitty capping thing that burned my poor lamp was maximum 14.545454 amps. So is 7.5625002 ohm maximum. So the fuse was 12 amps, 435 volts times 12 amps equal 5220 watts divided by 1000, 5.22 kilowatts on that fuse, and the resistance is corresponding in ohms as below. 435 volts divided by 12 amps, 36.25 ohms for that 12 amps. That for that working voltage. If the voltage for working was designed for 435 volts, that here was an anomaly because it's not designed to work in for 435 volts. So guys, as you can see, even with that, the amps, the fuse should need to be 3.6781609 amps maximum. But in place of that, because I didn't know that the voltage was that 435 volts, the fuse was rated 12 amps because it's supposed to work in 110 volts, not in 435 volts. That's the messy thing with resistance crappy shit when you work with power and calculations, because it's not the same for that voltage and it's not the same for that voltage. That's why the most of variacs of many persons of YouTube get burned because it is not corresponding to voltage and resistance. This video will help even them to learn something about why they variacs get burned, why it didn't stand long. So, as I was telling you, in place of 118.3 ohm, let's say, it was 36.25 ohm, and that's great because it fused it at 12 amps and not at 35 amps, for example, as 35.9, so 36 amps. Better it was 12 amps protected. Not even that, because it will be protected by my self-automatic fuse that my green multi-plugs have. Let me show you. This button that may look normal to you, that's anti-stress pressing, is 16 amps 250 volts and is an automatic fuse. When it reaches up 16 amps, it cut out the circuit and doesn't get power on those outlets here, and it's turned off, and you need to push it to turn on. So I will calculate how it could be if the fuse was rating more higher, and this should operate. Let me calculate. So guys, that's why I told you that is a messy thing when you works with variacs. They can get burned easily, and there is the power of that, may they say free energy, but it's not free energy, it's just manipulation of flux. And Weber, Tesla, something like that, to raise up the voltage, but you can't calculate this raise it up the voltage. It's like a person who enter in a bar and he is underage and need to drink alcohol, but with fake ID. If he use a fake ID, he can't manage the drink. He can get drunk, maybe he can die from alcoholization. So that's why Variacs always get burned, because our kids that are pretending to be adults. This is how I can explain. And this is the calculation. 230 volts divided by 16 amps is need to be 14.375 ohms. So is a power 3680 watts with 16 amps, and with the amperage of 12 amp is 19.166666 ohms, and it corresponds to 2760 watts. That's why it's messy when you works with Variacs and inverters, because a kid cannot be an adult if he's not really an adult. So you can step up the voltage, but you can't manipulate when he is kid. He will get burned, he will get drugged, alcoholized, he can be a potential danger to the community, as the Variac is. So Variac is just a kid who needs, by himself or by you forcing him, to be an adult without being an adult. As I don't know if I'm clear to you guys. So the power, for example, of that fuse, 230 volts of main line, is 12 amps. Let me write here. That is main. This is main. 12 amps. And the ohm that need to be in load is 19.166666 ohms. And the power need to be 2760 watt. In place of, when I let me see here, when you raise up the voltage, you raise up the power. So how can you get that power when the primary power is 3000, sorry, 2760 watt? So by flux magnetization, of course, but you will get burned the circuit of main power supply. You may blow up the fuse, as I is here, 12 amps. That's why Variacs and inverters are the same, and they're messy and ununderstandable, but you can understand them by acting that they are kids that need to grow up step by step, not directly to step up the voltage like the transformer do, those two coils transformers do, that have a primary and secondary. So if you use a Variac, you can't make a kid to drink a bottle of vodka. or a bottle of gin, a bottle of Jack. Sorry for mentioning those brands, but just alcohol. Because I don't make reclaims for no one. My YouTube is just to teach people how to be safe with electricity. Well, guys, that was why this poor light bulb was burned. Because of this criminal that maybe it could not be a criminal. I will see inside what happened to him. Why this kid forced to be an adult, and from 110 volts he gives me 435 volts. Something happened in his past. Sorry that I'm thinking like a criminalist, like a CSI. That was my also another dream, to be a CSI expert. So I will see his past, what he was through, why he became a criminal to burn up this light bulb, why he can't handle up this light bulb, and why he gave that light bulb 435 volts in place of 110 volts that this lamp can handle, and 110 volts 1000 watt this lamp can handle. That's a pretty good lamp, by the way. It's original, made in Belgium. And by this, guys, you also learned a lot of lessons. You learned calculations. You learned why variacs are dangerous and deadly and messy stuff, and hard to calculate when is reason to change up and down the voltage, because the resistance that you will need to connect need to change. As you change the variac, need to change also the resistance, not leaving the resistance as it is. So you also learned about criminality, how the criminality began, that is connected even with this killer variac, that is a variac now, because from 110 it gives me 435. That's a criminal to him, to this lamp. So you learn it criminalistic. And this is how things go in life. Well, guys, have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, ask questions. From my videos you will get life teachings and also science teachings. So be good guys there. And to kids, don't grow up before your time. It will come your time, but enjoy your kid inside of you. Don't grow up faster than you are a kid. Be a kid, not a killer. The consequences of this killer are those victims. So guys, have a nice day. Stay safe there.